Welcome to the Explainer. So today we're diving into this really incredible ancient map, but it's not a map of some forgotten land. No, this one's all about the huge unexplored territory inside our own minds. This is the story of awakening a dormant power that lies within each and every one of us. All right, so let's just jump in with a big question, one that's been on the minds of, everyone from ancient yogis meditating in caves to the neuroscientists in shiny labs today. Are we really, truly using our full capacity? So get this. According to these ancient yogic texts, a mind-blowing 9/10 of our mind's potential is just sitting there, dormant. Now, don't get hung up on the exact number. Think of it as a metaphor, right? It's like there's this vast, sleeping continent of potential inside you, just waiting to be discovered. I mean, can you imagine unlocking even a tiny piece of that? The source material says that awakening these dormant parts of our brain is what makes a genius tick, the inspired artist, the visionary scientist. But a total awakening, well, that's a whole other level. This is basically the call to adventure in the epic story of you. So how do you even begin to answer a call like that? Well, there's this ancient system called Kundalini Yoga, and it offers a super detailed map for this exact journey. Let's break down some of the key ideas. Okay, first things first, we got to talk about where this all comes from, a tradition called Tantra. And look, it's probably not what you think. At its heart, it's this deep science built on a pretty radical idea that our reality isn't just what we can see, hear, and touch. It's about tapping into something deeper, intuition, gut feelings, and this incredibly powerful energy that's just waiting inside. And the main character, the hero of this whole inner story, it's called Kundalini. It's described as the ultimate evolutionary energy, this massive force of potential that's sleeping inside every single one of us. That symbol of a coiled serpent. It's perfect, right? It's dormant, but it's coiled and ready to strike into life. So, what's the landscape for this journey? What are the waypoints on our inner map? They're called chakras. Think of them as these powerful energy hubs. And I absolutely love the symbolism they use, a lotus flower. It starts in the mud, that's our ignorance. It grows up through the water, that's our journey, and then it finally blossoms in the sunlight. That's illumination. It's such a perfect metaphor for our own growth, isn't it? And here, this image just lays it all out so perfectly. You can really see how this ancient map fits right onto our own bodies. See that central channel, the sushumna, running right up the spine? And the chakras are like these key power stations along the way. And notice where it's all headed? Yep, right up to the brain. That's the final destination on this expedition. Okay, so let's talk about the journey itself, the ascent. This isn't some big, single leap to enlightenment. Nope. It's a methodical, step-by-step climb. Let's trace the path of this awakening. So the awakening of this Kundalini energy is a journey upward. It literally moves from the base of your spine, lighting up each chakra one by one. And every single stop on this path completely transforms your consciousness. You're moving from basic survival instincts at the root, up through your unconscious patterns, to your sense of personal power, and finally reaching these higher levels of compassion, intuition, and pure awareness. Okay, there is a huge turning point in this story. It happens right here, at the fourth chakra, Anahata, the heart center. According to the yogic texts, this is the moment you graduate. You stop being just a product of your past, of your fate. This is where you gain true free will, the power to consciously create your own destiny. And this leads to a really wild concept, the Kalpataru, or the wish-fulfilling tree. It's this powerful metaphor for what happens when your mind gets super focused at this heart level. Your thoughts, they're said to get this incredible power to actually manifest in the real world. But here's the catch. This power is a massive test. It's a total double-edged sword. The source tells this great cautionary story about a traveler who finds this tree. He wishes for water, for food, for a bed, and poof, they appear. But then, a single fearful thought pops into his head. What if tigers come and eat me? And guess what? They did. This story just brilliantly shows why mental discipline is so crucial. Your own negativity can literally become your downfall. So yeah, that story perfectly sets up our next point. This is not some casual weekend hobby. This is an advanced journey that requires a ton of preparation, serious discipline, and, really importantly, the right environment to navigate it safely. And the source material does not sugarcoat this. It's very direct about the challenges. As this powerful energy starts to move, it can stir up some really deep psychological stuff, even physical issues. Think of it like a deep clean, a purification process. And that can feel intense. It can be a real dark night of the soul experience. And this is exactly why, traditionally, an environment like an ashram is considered pretty much essential. I mean, can you imagine trying to go through this kind of deep psychological rewiring while you're also dealing with work deadlines, social media, and family drama? An ashram is like a safe container. It's a space where this whole process can unfold without the risk of being completely misunderstood, or, like the text bluntly puts it, being shipped off to a mental hospital by your family who means well but just doesn't get it. Okay, now I know what some of you might be thinking. This all sounds pretty mystical, right? But what's so fascinating is how modern science is actually starting to sketch out a very similar map. We're finding these really compelling parallels to these ancient yogic ideas. Just take a look at this. For thousands of years, yogis talked about two main energy channels, Ida, which is the cool, intuitive, lunar side, and Pingala, the hot, logical, solar side. Well, doesn't that sound an awful lot like the modern discovery of our brain's left and right hemispheres? And the whole yogic goal of balancing them? That's basically what we now call whole brain integration. And it's not just a nice idea, we can actually see this happening in the lab. EEG studies on really advanced meditators show exactly what the yogis were describing for millennia, a state of high coherence, where the brain waves across both sides of the brain sync up and start working together in perfect harmony. It's like the neurological signature of a totally unified mind. So, where does this epic inner journey actually lead? What's the final destination? Well, it's not about escaping the world and just floating away on a cloud. Actually, the final and maybe the most important part of the whole story is the return. The climax of the journey is this profound union that happens right inside the brain. These two fundamental forces, Shiva, which represents pure, still consciousness, and Shakti, which is all about dynamic, creative energy, they merge. The serpent of energy finally reaches her destination, and the result is this state of expanded, totally unified awareness called samadhi. But here's the real prize, the gift you bring back from the journey. A self-realized person doesn't become some spaced-out hermit. It's the exact opposite. They dive back into life. They deal with pain, with family squabbles, with all the messy, mundane stuff. But they do it with this incredible depth of understanding and compassion. They can see the whole drama of life for what it is. And that, right there, is the ultimate takeaway. The reward of this whole inner adventure isn't some far-out mystical trophy. It's a happier mind. It's a happier family. It's a deep-down sense of contentment that has nothing to do with what you own or what your job title is. It's about fundamentally upgrading the quality of your actual day-to-day experience of being alive. So this ancient map really gives us a blueprint, a kind of story structure for reaching our fullest potential. It suggests that the greatest adventure isn't somewhere out there in the world, but it's deep inside us. It's a story that's waiting to be written by every single one of us. The only question is, are you ready to turn the page?